I have zero intention of paying this debt. My college roommate Brett thought he could screw me over during finals week. He borrowed my laptop for his final presentation worth 40% of his grade, claiming his crashed and he'd fail without mine. Being a decent person, I said yes. The presentation was due at midnight on Friday. I needed my laptop back by Saturday morning for my own final project. Brett promised he'd return it Friday night after submitting. Friday came and went. No Brett, no laptop. I texted him around 11 p.m. asking where he was. He replied saying he was still working and would bring it back in the morning. I told him I needed it first thing Saturday because my project was due Monday. Saturday morning, I knocked on his door. His girlfriend answered and said he left early to visit his parents 3 hours away with my laptop for the weekend. I called him freaking out. He acted like it was no big deal and said he'd bring it back Sunday night. When I explained I needed it for my own final project, he just said, "Figure something out," and hung up. That's when I remembered something important. I had installed tracking software on my laptop after it got stolen from the library last semester, and I had remote access to everything. I logged into the tracking app and saw my laptop was indeed at his parents' house. More importantly, I could see everything he was doing on it. That's when I discovered something interesting. Brett hadn't just borrowed my laptop for his presentation. He had copied my entire research folder for Economics 302, the same class I was taking. He had literally plagiarized my entire semester's worth of work and submitted it as his own. I took screenshots of everything. His browsing history showed him accessing my files, copying my research, even using my outline. The timestamps proved he did it all after borrowing my laptop. Sunday night, he finally returned my laptop, acting like nothing happened. I asked him how his presentation went. He smiled and said it went amazing, probably his best work ever. Monday morning, I went straight to our economics professor with the evidence. The tracking software had logged everything. Brett's original presentation was literally my research with his name slapped on top. The professor was furious. Not only did Brett get a 0 on his final presentation, but he was reported to the Academic Integrity Board. Since this was worth 40% of his grade, he failed the entire course. Here's where it gets better. Brett had to retake the class over summer to graduate on time. Summer tuition at our school was $3,200 for one course. His parents made him pay for it himself since he got caught cheating. 2 weeks later, Brett cornered me in the dining hall demanding I pay him back the $3,200 because it was my fault he got caught. He said if I hadn't set him up with the tracking software, none of this would have happened. I looked at him dead in the eye and said I have zero intention of paying this debt. He tried to argue that I owed him because I entrapped him. I pointed out that normal people don't go through their roommates' files and steal their work. The tracking software was there because my laptop had been stolen before, not to catch him cheating. Brett got so angry he started yelling about how I ruined his life. Other students started staring. I just shrugged and said maybe he should have thought about that before stealing my research. He tried to get our mutual friends to pressure me into paying. When they heard the whole story, they all sided with me. Some even admitted Brett had tried to copy their work before too. Brett's parents found out exactly why he failed and cut off his spending money for the rest of college. He had to get a work-study job just to afford basic stuff. He graduated a semester late and with a permanent academic integrity violation on his record. I heard from a friend that it cost him his dream internship because they did a background check.